This is the most expensive car in Forza Horizon 6, and I'm going to ruin it faster than Eminem ruined Machine Gun Kelly's rap career. Now, as you can see, and hear, this car is 70 million credits in-game. The most expensive car, currently 5% off. How generous of Forza Horizon. I'm assuming it's like a little welcome sale. 5% off is, I mean, it's 3.5 million less, but anyways, this is, I'm gonna use the car voucher for this because I don't have that much credits, not yet, and I'm not using that stupid glitch that everybody's been using to farm credits because I work hard for my money. Now, this is the 1967 Ferrari number 24 Ferrari Spa 330 P4. This is a classic car with a lot of history behind it. It was built specifically to challenge Ford at Le Mans. It features a 4.0-liter V12 engine that produces around 450 horsepower, and only 3 of these were ever made in real life. Obviously, you can buy them aplenty here at Forza Horizon because it's a video game, but that does not diminish how awesome this car is. So, I'm going to take this car out and I'm going to experience it in its pure form. And then I'm going to do awful things to it. Get your mind out of the gutter. That's not where I'm going with it. But I'm going to ruin it. Because why not? All right, so I can think of no better place to test this out in its pure form than just letting it loose on the highway for a little bit and just seeing how fast this baby can go. So let's get her going. I really like the way it sounds. It sounds very cool. Let's take a look at the inside cockpit. Nice. Didn't nail the speed trap. It's not fast enough yet. But it might be. Woo! Something else I've noticed about this game too is that... Ah! No! I can't see! Ah. Well. The engine... I kind of like the way that the engine sounds from like the hood bonnet view. It's just got a much crispier sound to it than it does from like inside the cockpit or from a third person view. It sounds so nice. Okay, so normally when it comes to conversions in Forza Motorsport, Forza Horizon, I've seen a lot of cars that have a lot of options. You have the engine swaps, drivetrain swaps, turbo swaps, and sometimes even body kits. However, this is the first time, at least in my time of playing Forza Horizon, where I haven't seen a car that doesn't have an engine conversion at all. You can simply swap the drivetrain on this Ferrari, and the only drivetrain you can swap it to is all-wheel drive. So that's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna make this Ferrari all-wheel drive. Not only are we going to make it all-wheel drive, but we're also going to add the Forza arrow. Why? Because it'll actually help us tune the car down the road. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run this baby raw, all right? I'm gonna raw dog this car with these upgrades. A lot of the language is questionable. I know, I understand. But then, based on how it performs, I'm gonna tune it and see if I can't tune out some of the issues that the car initially has. Now, your boy's been educating himself. I actually watched 2 more videos today on tuning cars for Forza Horizon. So I'm going to be using those videos to reference between takes, and I'm going to use a little bit of that knowledge to see if I can't actually make this thing possibly run better. Then, once I've done that, we're going to take it to a time attack course, and we're going to see what kind of times we can set. I was also surprised to find that this car comes stock in A-Class. I personally would have suspected a car like this to at least come stock in S1 class. However, that's not the case, and I think that makes sense. For a car that is this old, and unique, perhaps it makes more sense that back in the time, which was the late 60s, they didn't necessarily have a lot of the development on engines and power and all that jazz that we do nowadays. So It makes sense to me. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to deal with is the tire compound. Now, interestingly enough, and uniquely enough, this comes with vintage race tires, obviously, because it is a vintage race car. And you would think, well, Jared, because it's a vintage race car, why don't you go with some slicks? That's the only thing that makes sense for a race car. Yes, however, hear me out. Something that I learned from one of the videos today is that apparently a lot of cars that are used for like handling builds and just sometimes for funsies that perform quite well actually perform pretty well with the rally tire compound. And what you have to look for apparently is what it pulls in lateral Gs. As you see, yes, while between the rally tire compound it says, here, let me move my camera. It says you get grip plus 12 on the rally tires and grip plus 0.28 on the slicks. The lateral Gs have a slight difference. So you get a little more lateral Gs with the slicks, and just only the tiniest bit less with the rallies. And oddly enough, the braking distance is slightly shorter on the rally tire than it is on the slicks. So go figure. So because of that, we're gonna slap on the rally tire compound. Then we're going to go to the tire width. Now, for this, I'm gonna stick with not bothering with the front tire width. However, I am going to increase the rear tire width just a bit for maximum grip. We can go all the way to 375s on this. That's actually crazy. They're so fat. They're so fat. And for the memes of ruining the car, I'm going to put rims on this, and then I'm going to make them big boy rims. So let's see, what do we want to put on this thing? Jesus Christ, absolutely. We're going with 20s and 21s in the rear. Oh yeah, this is stupid. Oh, this is gonna be so dumb. So dumb. So dumb. Okay, so next up is the drivetrain, okay? So we're gonna start with the differential. Now, something else that I learned today. You have, okay, so right here, we have the race differential, the drift differential, and the off-road differential. So, apparently, when you take a rear-wheel drive car and you swap to an all-wheel drive transmission or driveline, you are actually supposed to use the drift differential because of like the science of the weight transfer and center balance with the car, something like that. So that's what we're gonna go with for this. In terms of the transmission, I'm gonna go with a race 8-speed transmission because it bumps our acceleration up to 9.0 and our launch to a perfect 10, which, you know, truthfully is something that I want. And it doesn't really harm our braking all that much. So why not? Okay, next up, we're gonna go over to platform and handling. So we're gonna start with our springs and dampers. And really the only ones we need to worry about would be the race and off-road. And apparently because this is the, or is it race and off-road or is it sport and race? It's one of the two. But apparently those are really the only types of springs that you really want to concern yourself with in this game. You actually don't really need to ever worry about rally or drift springs unless you have a car like the Lamborghini Huracan, where when you put a body kit on it, or even just in general with the Lamborghinis, because they're really stiff, the rally springs can actually help you tune out a lot of that stiffness. But because this is an older car, we don't really need to worry about that. Now, in terms of our weight reduction, we are going to go with a full race weight reduction. We are also going to go with the race chassis reinforcement roll cage, which is actually much more beneficial for older cars than it is more modern cars, which is something I've also learned. I'm giving you guys the tips in case you haven't heard or learned any of this. And if I'm wrong on something, correct me, please, for the love of God. I'm learning, but I may not always have all the correct information. So yeah. Anyways, so we're going to throw this bad boy on 2. And then finally, we're going to go to our brakes because God knows we're going to need really, really good brakes if we're trying to ruin this thing and push it a lot harder than it needs to go. Okay, so for the engine upgrades, we have a little more leniency with what we're trying to do. So we're going to start with pistons and compression. We're going to see how far up that pushes me. Not that far at all. That's great. And then we're going to kind of just go down the line from the top. So we've got the race intake. We've got our race fuel system. We've got our race ignition. We're gonna get a race cam and valve. We're going to get the race valves, and we're going to get the race engine block. And finally, we're going to check the flywheel, and we're going to put a race flywheel in. And you see, look at that. It does lower the weight, and it also increases our power. So, this is our possible unholy creation of the Ferrari Spa 330p4. We're going to buy all of our parts. I'm going to take it out, and I'm going to test it at a time trial or time attack track first before we tune it, because I want to see what we're working with right now. So, let's hit the track. Actually, no, you know what? Before I do that, I'm going to launch this thing off of the cliff, because there's no better way to ruin something than to absolutely disrespect its history. So we're going to throw it off of a cliff. However, oh, that's right, it's off-road too. And we have the rally tires, so we're not going to be slipping and sliding, and we're all-wheel drive. Oh, this is going to be real fun. And
arrived at your destination.
Ooh, where are we? Failed! You know what? I deserve that. I think I deserve that for being disrespectful to this car. I don't see how I failed that, but if we had gotten it correctly, we would have gotten... We still wouldn't have even gotten 2 stars. You know, okay, that's karma. I deserve that. Okay, we got some music to set the mood. We're at the time attack track. Let's get a starting lap out, and then let's put this baby through her paces and see how she does. Remember, we are not a fully maxed out S1 class, but we are, you know, a little wonky. So let's see what we're dealing with. All right, a little bit of understeer once you get on power through corners. Not bad rotation. Oh boy. Yeah, there you go. All right. All right, flying lap, here we come. It's not too bad. We definitely want to free up some of the understeer that we have here. We also want to be a little faster out of corners. But it's not terrible. Honestly, not terrible, and it's really stable. Granted, it's all-wheel drive, so, you know. One more lap. Bring her around, see if we can get just a little faster. Perfectly even on that sector. Only out by a couple milliseconds. Okay, slightly faster, 7,551st. That sounds about right. Overall, stock with everything that we just put on the car, it's not horrible. Let's see if we can tune her up and maybe get a little more out of her. Okay, so now that we've gone through all of that, let's walk through a little bit of the adjustments that I've made. I actually dropped the tire pressure just a little bit to 23. I heightened the final drive to 3.65. I added just some negative camber to the front. I left the toe in the middle, and I think I added just a little bit of caster, but not too much. We're going with a drastic anti-roll because of the all-wheel drive that we're using. And we'll adjust from there as needed. So this is probably where we're going to have most of our issues. I gave us some springs, some damping, aero, brake, and differentials. So I've made adjustments, and now this is either going to be really good or really bad. So we'll see. All right, here we go. Get the music going. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Still pretty grippy, but we are actually moving slower. But then again, we also came from a standing start. So the real test will be on the flying lap. We've made it through that corner a little better with our acceleration. But we might actually be faster. We are going to have to take this corner a lot better. That was heavy understeer into that corner. But let's see what happens. We're definitely faster coming down this straight. She still grips up real good there. You know, maybe I might not be as bad at tuning as I thought. We've shaved a whole half second off of our previous time. And we've improved that corner as well. Hell yeah, dude. Almost close to a full second off of our initial time. Okay, yeah, you know what, man? I don't hate it. And that moved us up like 2.5 thousand spots just by gaining that little bit of extra time. I won't complain. Now, if you're interested in the tuning that I gave this car and you want to try it out for yourself, there's the code. Go ahead, use it. Let me know what you think and tell me if you have any adjustments that you might make to make it better. Now, there is one more thing that I want to do. I would really, really like to do an off-road race with this car. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna make a custom race because I just, you know, since we have the rally cars and the rally tires, it's all-wheel drive. I want to test this car off-road. Now, because I'm a masochist, I decided to make it rain. I also decided to keep it decently fair and make sure that other cars were all-wheel drive as well. So we are racing against above-average AI. That's going to make this an interesting race. So let's see what we got. By the way, I've been seeing all over threads because apparently there was a post about how they're going to make some adjustments to the AI in this game. And a lot of people have beef with the AI. I thought it was just me, but apparently a lot of people are getting absolutely shredded by the AI in this game, including similar ones that I get shredded by. But I gotta say, this Ferrari off-road, it's not too bad. It's pretty good. Oh. And now that I've saved the tuning and set up for this and all that jazz, I can, I just kind of mess with it and have some fun and revert it back to normal, too. Hokey Hoshi, I'm sorry, brother. I'm gonna have to take you out. There you go. All right. Hey, listen, man, this is actually not a bad car for off-road racing. I would actually try this out in the lobby if I could. I said I was gonna ruin it, and I think I made it pretty goddamn decent. I might have to become one of the next master tuners for Forza Horizon. You guys will come to me for all your ridiculous needs. Whew. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, well. All right. There you have it. That is my attempt to ruin a car and unfortunately making it better. If you guys have any ideas for other cars you want to see me potentially try to ruin in the game or potentially make better, let me know down below in the comments. And if you enjoyed this content, then please make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, come hang out with me when I play this game and many of us live at twitch.tv/KillerHorizon. Bless you! 2 to 3 days a week, depending on how much free time I've got. And of course, if you want to check out any other content from me, I do have a horror channel and a variety channel. You can find the link to those down below in the description. So other than that, please be good to each other, and I'll see you guys in the next video.